Hello,
Hi,
welcome to Lucid Lemons. Yeah, you see my big lemon. Welcome to our Zoom Pride interview series. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful and thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, I'm hella
How are you?
excited to be here. I told you before, I'm like a fan and like super nervous and all of that.
I, I'm very honored about that. Thank you.
I want to say that I love your entire look and I love your eyebrows. I want to say that on camera so that everyone knows how much I love your eyebrows. Like, how do you do this? Like, what magic do you put in there? Like, I want to have
Oh,
those.
I mean, it's just natural. The rest of it is just maintenance. And thank you so much. I love everything about you. Like I said before, we started filming too, and I want to get
Yeah,
that on
guys, I'm
camera.
cool. Just so you guys know. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I
Like
feel
better
hella
than
good.
cool.
Oh, do you hear that, people? I'm better than cool. All right. So I don't want to introduce you. I want you to tell us about yourself. What is your preferred
Okay.
name? Just talk to us. Tell us a little about you.
Well, my birth name, my preferred name, and my artist name are all the same, so that makes everything a little bit easier.
Yeah.
My name is Bazise, which means gravitate them, essentially.
Oh,
In a
I
more,
like that. That's
yeah,
powerful.
yeah, it is. I agree. I do love that name, which is why I never wanted to change it. And I'm one of two people I've ever heard of with that name, and the second person I saw on social media. So it's not a common name. It doesn't have a connotation in terms of gender and all of that stuff. So I'm very like happy with it. And basically what I'm supposed to do is my energy is supposed to gravitate people and inform people and things like that.
You know,
So
I think
yeah,
that's a very powerful name for a musician to have. Because like it means
yeah,
regardless, your people are going to be buying your music because you're just drawing them in. It's a powerful name. It's just like my
thank you.
friend, one of her native names means the one that must be listened to or the one that must be answered. And so I just think it's such a powerful name because
Nice.
just people automatically are doing things for you. And I wanted to ask like
What's
where
the
is
name?
oh
May I ask?
I can't pronounce it and I don't want to embarrass.
Okay,
Maybe off camera
it's
I'll tell
fine.
you, but like yeah, my name is
Okay.
it's pretty like generic. Well, not like it's slightly rare, but not it's still pretty common in Nigeria. So my full name, which I never go by because most people can't pronounce it, is Oyinkosola, and it means honey drops
Oyim
into.
Kosala,
That was so spot on. Wow,
shut down.
boom, like love it. So it means honey drops into riches or wealth, and I just love it because it means that my money is going to be sweet when I eventually get that money. Because I ain't got it now,
Yeah.
but eventually. Like I just love the idea of like having money that would be sweet to have, like not money that is a burden or something. So I believe in the
Mm,
power of powerful names. I was going to ask you before I
mm.
move on to the next question that where in South Africa are you from? So I wanted to like be able to place like your tribe to see if I can do it because I'm a history buff. Well,
Oh,
no,
you
I'm
want to
not.
guess it?
Oh no, I don't want to guess. Okay, so here's the thing. I am Jesus. I am a history major, but
Hmm.
I may suck a little bit in school. So I was hoping you would tell me,
Oh,
and
that's
then
fine.
maybe if I know a little bit about the tribe, I could just brag a bit. But if I don't, I'm just gonna shut up.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm from Johannesburg specifically. And my tribe, I'm actually I don't want to say a blend, but I guess a blend. My family is by culture Swati, but by descent Zulu, and then my mother's Xhosa.
Oh,
So, do you have something to brag about that?
I do, but like I have to like I feel like I have to check my notes to confirm whatever I want to
Okay,
brag about. So we could always have a conversation about like South African history after this. I wanted to ask you what are
sensible.
your preferred names and like how do you identify? What are your preferred pronouns and how do you identify?
Well, I'm trans, so I identify as she, just she, she slash her, if that's how I should phrase it. Um, yeah, that's it.
How old are you?
I am 22 as of the 17th of May.
Happy birthday. I mean, May was
Thank you.
like yesterday, which was also like 5 years ago, but time
Yeah,
is time is weird this year.
it's
How
so
does it feel
weird with
being
quarantine
22?
and everything.
Yeah.
I love it. I take my birthday kind of seriously, not in the sense that I'm like, oh, don't mess with my birthday, but in the way that every year is an opportunity for growth and an opportunity to experience new things and learn lessons and also reflect on the previous 365 days of your life, regardless of it just being your birthday. And this time round, I feel like I'm entering a chapter of being more responsible as an artist and being more serious as an artist and starting to make a variety of music that sounds different, as opposed to, not that I have anything against my old music, but I've realized that I have a very kind of similar or singular sound, and I want to experiment more this year. And so I think this year is the perfect age and opportunity to do that. I'm more mature than I've ever been, and I will mature in ways that I've never matured before. So yeah, that's what 22
I
is.
love that. 22 sounds amazing. It sounds like growth, regeneration, and love. Beautiful.
For sure. For sure. That's what it's always about. Always. Just every day is a new opportunity and all of that. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear the music that's going to come out of this year. That's what I was going to say.
Hey.
Who says it'll be this year? Well, I know artists, and I already know like whatever music you record or make this year is probably going to come out in the next 10 years because you all be selfish like that. But it's okay. I don't mind.
It's true.
I forgive you. It's worth the wait. I'm very certain.
We're thinking about the listeners. We're thinking about you guys. We want you guys to enjoy it and like go on a journey with us.
We want to go on that journey multiple times. You know, we don't want to be going on the journey like for like 5 years. Please, new music. You know, I feel like every artist friend I have, I'm like, I understand your growth and thought process, but please, just a crumb, just a little bit of new music.
Yeah, I get that. Sometimes I get the urge to release music too, so I get that completely.
Well, as long as you're working with like your intuition and like working on your perfect time, the rest of us will wait, and we don't mind waiting at all.
Thank you. I really like you.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you. I like you too. This is so much fun.
Oh, thanks. I agree. I
wanted to ask you, what country are you currently in right now? Because you mentioned earlier that you were from Johannesburg. So are you based there, or where are you based?
I live in Johannesburg for all intents and purposes, but for the last 2 years leading up to quarantine and 2020 and all of those things, I was living in New York. I studied film there for a year, and then I spent another year working and establishing, I guess, a basis, connections, making music, you know, doing the things that I really, really wanted to do outside of studying and exploring and things like that. But I do want to go back at some point. So I'll say Johannesburg / New York right now.
We love an international artist.
That makes sense.
We love it.
Yes. Thank you.
It always feels weird when you hear just like an artist based in one country. You know, most artists you hear like, oh, like Ghana / Nigeria / South Africa / Ghana / blah, 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 you know, all around the place. I mean, we love it. An artist that is everywhere. Well, hopefully one day we'll catch you in Nigeria.
Definitely one day. I'd love to go to Nigeria.
I'd love to see somewhat amazing. I shall not slander my country on this. Well, yes, let's talk about the people. Let's not talk about everything else. But yeah, we have nice people most times.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you how it is being a trans individual, both as a South African in Johannesburg and in New York. Like, do you find any difference in how people treat you in both places?
Well, in how people treat me, not exactly, but in how it's seen, definitely. Like, I surround myself with people who are very positive. I surround myself with the people I've been with throughout my life. So any part of my identity that I have, they're going to nurse and they're going to respect and they're going to make sure I feel valid to take up that space. So, you know, in terms of the people I surround myself with and my actual interactions, it's been the same. It's been the same amount of love. Obviously, it takes time for people to adjust because before I left, I didn't yet know. But when I came back, all of a sudden I had this knowledge. I was so much more open and so much more happy. And, I think that kind of helped them too with, accepting it easier and nursing it easier because they saw how authentic it was for me. But in terms of general society, I would say New York is definitely more open because everyone there, not every person literally, but like a lot of people there identify as something, whether it's transgender, gay, or an animal, there's everything there. So people are not very judgmental, but here there's 11 cultures, most of which are very traditional. So I do get the eye every now and then, but I'm not someone who focuses much on things like that. Even if I notice it, I won't put my attention to it. So I can't give a full answer on that necessarily.
You know what?
Yeah.
I was listening to you and I was just really struck by when you talked about the people you surround yourself with and how they hold space for you. And I think one of the most important things as core individuals that we need to have is people holding space for us to have that necessary community. And I wanted you, if you could talk a bit about how you found these people that are your community, that are your friends and family, that are just there for you in everything. How did you find them?
I grew up with them. The ones here in Johannesburg I grew up with. I don't have any new friends. The
No
people
new
who are in my
friends.
life have been in my life. No new friends. That's right. I thought about the song too.
Except me.
Um,
I'm your new friend.
yeah, there we go. Except for you. And I know you'll respect my queerness because you also hold your queerness. So that's a great relationship. But yeah, like all of the people I'm around, I've known for at least 7 years, and I have maybe 4 friends. I see people who I went to high school with by coincidence and sometimes by arrangement through other people. But like generally, I've just always had these people around me. So that's why like we're so solid and trusting and caring and all of that stuff.
That makes me very happy to hear because over here in
Thank you.
Nigeria, it's usually the people you've known the longest that start to turn on you once they hear that you're queer.
Oh,
And
really?
I realized halfway that I haven't like introduced myself. So, hi, my name is Yin, and um I am a non-binary queer individual. I want to talk a little bit about music. Is that fine?
Okay, perfect. I'd love to.
Awesome. What are your favorite genres of music? I was gonna ask you for one, but I realized how hard that question is because most people listen to a lot of
It's a
music,
hard
especially
question.
artists. I hate answering it, but I'm always
Thank
gonna
you.
ask people. So can you give me like top three?
Top three, I would say R&B and hip hop. I'll put them under one because they're not the same sound, but they're categorizable as one thing. I'd say R&B and hip hop. I love pop. I grew up listening to pop. My love for music started with pop, but for a while I was not so into it because I felt like it was dying and, people were making songs just to make songs and to be famous and all of that. So I became very disconnected with it for a while. But as of recent, I've gone back to my pop roots. I'm even making more poppy sounds sometimes when I'm
Alrighty.
cooking up in the stew. It's fun. And then third, I would say, let's say like alternative.
Yes. I was waiting to hear that. I was waiting to hear that. I'm like,
Okay.
nah, I'm gonna hear some alternative in there. So I find that right
There we
now,
go.
for me, for the last 2 to 3 years, my favorite genre of music has been like alternative or indie rock. So like I always feel like I want someone to say alternative too. So yay, those are
Got it.
pretty
We
cool
got
genres.
that. Mm-hmm.
I
Thank
wanted
you.
to ask you, why did you start making music and how did you start making music?
Why passion? Essentially, I've always known I wanted to be a musician. It was always something that was, I don't want to say always because I didn't come out the womb and dance, but ever since I was like 7 years old, I realized I had talent. By the time I was 8, I was singing all the time. By the time I was 9, I was performing for my family members, you know, so it was always something I knew I was going to do. And with regards to actually starting to make it, I was kind of out of high school, or actually I was still in high school. And I figured that after high school, I have to start making my own music. I can't keep singing people's music. And I used to release covers on SoundCloud too,
So,
which are now not there. But
there's one
I
cover.
have maybe one. Yeah,
Just one.
there's one there. I used to have like 15 approximately that I released like throughout high school. And eventually I was like, I need to make my own music. I'm going to exit school. I need to make a decision. I need to pursue my talents. And so I started practicing writing music. And about a year later, I could write, and I had people around me who could do the other things. So yeah, that's the story of how I started, I guess, making music.
I absolutely love it. I wish I could
Thank
make
you.
music because like my
You can.
our musical journeys kind of started the same way. I was singing for my family, except my mother told me that if I couldn't sing to save like the lives of anyone in the family because my voice is very,
I'm sorry.
very bad. I mean, hearing it from my mom, it just really like solidified, the thing. I tried to join the church choir, and I attended every meeting they
Really?
had every Saturday, but I just didn't have the talent. I had the passion though, so
Passion gets you a long way. You don't
yeah.
have to be in front of the mic. Look at you, you're running a music blog. That's
Well,
something.
I'm working with the team at Lucid Lemons. I'm just lead, yeah, and our CEO is actually Tomisi Akinomi. And for me, Lucid Lemons it's amazing because it's for I find that it's over the years being with them for the past 5 years, it's kind of like influenced me. It's to be more than just like the person I am because there's just like constant growth amongst like everyone and the kind of from the music we make to the artists we work with to just everything. We just like encourage each other to grow. So I love it. I mean, none of them encouraged me to sing, but they kind of got me into starting to learn how to produce music, and I love that. And I started some songwriting.
That's
So
awesome.
like I may not
That
sing
is
it, but I can write it.
awesome. You can give me some. I'd be happy to sing them.
Sure. I mean, afterwards I can show you some of the stuff I have done.
I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear.
Awesome. I wanted to ask you that with the music industry, like I'm sure you would have had some interactions with people over here in South Africa and in New York. I wanted to ask if you've experienced any transphobia.
Directly, no. The thing is, I have a bit of a privilege, which I will say. I don't really want to say it, but I will. I have a bit of a privilege in the sense that I come across as a feminine person the minute you see me, the minute you talk to me. And that has actually saved me from a lot of instances where things could have gone bad, or, I could have been ashamed publicly, or I could have had instances like people either assume I'm a girl already, which is amazing for me,
Which you
or
are.
they, yeah, for sure. For sure. It's a very good blessing to have. So I won't say I've had the worst transphobia. I actually have not experienced direct transphobia unless it was in the form of someone sending me a message on a social media randomly, which is easy to disregard. But like other than that, no.
Well,
No.
I'm very glad to hear that it's been a pretty smooth journey for you because it's so
Thank you.
necessary for artists. I find that it's
Mm,
the negative comments hit the hardest, even though we could have like the most amazing
mm,
positive ones, the negative ones can just completely take you down. And I'm glad that you haven't really experienced that. Also, thank you for acknowledging your privilege because a lot of people never acknowledge their privilege. And I feel like in moving
mm,
forward to make a more equal, better, free society, a we need a space where people can acknowledge what they have and what they don't have, so we can all make it better.
mm.
I wanted to
I agree.
ask you about an album because from my little research, I have found that across all social medias plus all blogs I can find, you have like at least 9 songs accessible to the public. So when should we expect an album? You can't be
Wow.
hiding that amazing voice from us.
Thank you. An album specifically, not anytime soon.
Tears in my eyes.
I'm sorry. But content, definitely, I'm always making content. So you never know when something will be released and all of that stuff. But right now, there's nothing in sight about an album.
My heart is broken,
I
but it's all good.
apologize.
I noticed
I can
that.
send you some stuff now that we have our friendship. So, like,
Oh, okay.
you know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
This is the privilege I like.
Acknowledge your privilege.
Acknowledging it all the way.
Yeah.
So I noticed that 5 days ago you dropped a song called Your Black, or a project, a spoken word project called Your Black is Beautiful, and you said you wrote it in 2016. So I wanted you to take us back to 2016, what you were thinking when you penned down this amazing body of work that resonates so beautifully.
Thank you. Thank you. So I wrote the poem 2016, as you said. See, it's weird because when I wrote the poem, I didn't expect to write such profound words and such actually deeply meaningful things, you know. And because when I wrote it, I was actually going through a transitional period. High school was starting to expose racism, and people were starting to be unapologetically Black for the first time ever. I went to a private high school, so the people there, subconsciously, being Black is seen as something that's wrong or less or anything like that. But a lot of people don't see it. A lot of the people who are even involved in that racism don't see it. So
just something they've been socialized
as a
into.
result, yeah, it's something that you end up laughing at. It's something that you end up participating in and putting your other brothers and sisters down by doing. And I started my journey of owning my Blackness, which only, I mean, I don't even want to say I'm done, but like it's only something I've fully started conceptualizing now, 4 years later. But at that time, the beginning of my journey was like, okay, I'm Black and I have no idea that I'm Black. How can I enforce that onto myself in a way that's loving and affirmative and careful? And I looked at the state of the world. At the time, Black Lives Matter was still an early movement, and we had cases that were already publicized. You know, Trayvon Martin was from 2012 or somewhere around there, and that case was already out there. And we had others in 2016. Sandra Bland happened in 2015, and all of that stuff. So I knew that there was stuff happening. And I grew up in South Africa. So, you know, I come from a country that is literally built from the grounds of oppression. And I looked at my experience. I looked at the experience of other Black people around me. I looked at the experience of my classmates. I looked at the experience of just Black people around me. And I wanted to create something that would inspire the next generation and us. You know, I thought about, you know, when I sing that poem or when I say that poem now, I think about my daughter. I don't even have a daughter, but I think about affirming that to her when she's a baby so that she can grow up in this world and see, or he or they, whatever the child ends up being. But in my mind, I imagine a daughter, though I'm not essentially that bothered about it. And I think about affirming only positive things about the color of their skin and making them feel like their Blackness is a power to them. So all of those things that I've just mentioned tied into the creation of that poem, but I didn't really know necessarily at that time. So yeah.
You know, I was listening to you, and when you said you didn't know that you were going to create something so profound, I found that so relatable, because similarly in 2017, I wrote a piece that a lot of white people across Nigeria and Ghana have related to so heavily. And when I wrote it, it was just something I had woken up and I just put it down. I never expected it to have that power. And it ties back to me believing that artists in all of our various forms, we are all messengers trying to send out messages of hope and regeneration and love
For sure.
to people all around. So I am grateful that you let yourself be used to give us that, because
For
I
sure.
I listened to it on my way, as I told you I was running back, and it was such a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful piece that it carries your spirit, and it says that there will be a light lit up inside of you, and there are very few
Mm-hmm.
words or pieces of sound that do that. And so I am very grateful
Thank
for
you.
that.
Thank you.
You're absolutely
Thank you
welcome.
so much. And I agree with what you said about us artists having something to say. It's how I define myself as an artist. You know, people ask me often like, how do you write music or things like that? And I often tell them I don't. It's translation. It's frequencies that are already there that just need to be, you know, exposed to the world. So thank you for saying that, by the way.
Absolutely
Kind of took the
welcome.
words out of my mouth. Thank you.
I think that as a trans individual
Sorry.
based in
Mm.
the abroad and the Africa, do you find that your identity as a person and your music has to be separated, or it's just completely intertwined?
I try to separate them,
Oh wow.
but um, just because the magnitude of my artism, don't know what word to use, is not one that every person can handle that I talk to. As I said, the people that I surround myself with are people I've had around for my whole life. So some of them are doing law degrees, some of them are accountants, you know. So if I was to not develop a, a barrier between me as a musician and me as a person, then I probably wouldn't be that relatable to them. You know, my friends in New York, you know, they're all artists. I met them as an adult. So for them, there's times where I can just be everything. But it's really something that I use discretion at. When I'm in my artistic zone, I'm very deeply in it. So it's very hard to talk to me as a normal person um, if if I'm being an artist. So that's when I just try to be and then be me as an artist. Um, yeah.
No, okay, I think I understand what you mean, because sometimes it's like people know us, and it's like being an artist, it just feels like a whole lot that people can handle. And so we have to like draw that
Mm-hmm.
line between them, between
Mm-hmm.
you as an individual and you as an artist. I find that like I've had to do that with my family members, with me as a poet and as an activist, and me as just me, because even though all these things are me, it's just easier to process certain things separately. So yeah, I get that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I
All
agree.
right. I wanted to ask you a
Fabulous
question.
point.
I definitely. I wanted to ask you a question that's a little bit personal, so I don't mind if you take a minute to think about it before you respond to me. I wanted to ask you that: are
Okay.
you comfortable in your body as of now, 2020, where you are right now, considering the whole journeys you've had to go through?
Um, am I comfortable in my body? I'm more comfortable than I've ever been, definitely.
Love that.
Um, yeah, no, as I kind of tried to allude to in terms of my relationships, I I try to keep positive all the time. So as I've grown older, I realized that talking negatively to yourself, whether it's to your body or about your capabilities, or you feel tired and unmotivated, and all of a sudden you find yourself screaming something negative about yourself, it doesn't help. Um, you have to nurse yourself and care, and you know, every bit of your body needs love. Every bit of your body and every bit of your soul
Speak on it.
needs you to love it. You know, if you don't, who will? And you know, I've learned to look at parts of myself that I'm not happy with and just affirm with them positively and say, you know what, you may not feel amazing now, but one day you will, and you have a valid place in my body right now. So yeah, that's my
I'm so
answer with
happy
that.
hearing this, because those are like similar steps I have taken with myself and with my
Mm,
body. So I have found that
Mm.
there has been so much I have had to unlearn, as from being colorist with myself
Yeah.
to how I identify as a non-binary individual, to everything. And sometimes I have taken it to say, I say to myself, the parts of me that I do not like, I say to my hands, oh, you're big but you can lift a lot. And elbows, you have a
Wow.
sharp tilt. I just say little words of affirmation. I bless them on a daily basis, so that way the
Mm.
wholeness of me can feel love, even though I may not love it the way I want to. I give it what I
Mm.
can, because I find that it is necessary that we
Mm.
do that constant blessing of ourselves. Because as you said, if we don't,
Mm.
who will? And if we don't, we will find ourselves searching in the worst places for people who would just love us a little bit. And we
Absolutely.
must start with ourselves.
Wow. Absolutely. I agree 100% with that. And that's beautiful words that you just said. I can't wait to hear your music that you write, because you sound like you would write beautiful music.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is my favorite question. I've been waiting to ask it. I love to ask people, random
Ooh,
people, everyone, about it.
okay.
Tell us the first time you were in
Ooh,
love.
we got the eyes.
We got the eyes. Yeah, you're gonna see my eyes
You
this
have
time.
beautiful eyes, by the way. You have
Oh,
a
thank
beautiful
you. Thank you.
face. Thank you, actually. Um, what the question was, when the first time I fell in love.
Yeah, like actual love, not infatuation. Like that love that,
Okay.
like you fell deep into like the gutter, 6 inches, you can't get up. Your heart is out of your chest. You wanna, like, that kind of love.
Wow. Yeah, I think I do know what kind of love you're alluding to. Um, see, I have two answers. I don't know which
I want
one
both.
was
I want both.
actually okay. Um, the first one was with an individual who didn't love me back, actually, which is,
Oof.
I know you said not infatuation and all of that stuff, but the reason I feel like it was real love is because even today I look at it and I'm like, damn, I love this guy. He taught me so much and
I feel
all of that.
I can relate to that so hard, because like my first
Yeah.
story is literally the same kind of story.
Wow, we're very similar. We're very
Yeah.
similar. So we met when he came to my school, and we just got along as friends very well. And there was just something about the way he made me feel. Remember when I spoke about my friends and how safe they make me feel? I think he was actually one of the first people, including them, to make me feel that way. He saw my insecurities. He saw my beauty more than my insecurities. He saw my beauty. He saw that the person that I was at that time didn't see my beauty, and he helped me see it. Essentially, we're very good friends till this day, um, and I'll always love him. Always. I think that's the best I could say about that one.
My heart.
And then, yeah, and then number two was actually very recent. This was about 2 years ago. I met a human being who, again, nursed me. Before him, I felt like I'd lost sense of myself. I'd experienced things in life that had made me feel like I was not worthy of being loved, and I was alone in New York, and just a lot of things were contributing to me not being a whole person. And I met this guy, and he kissed me. He kissed my scars, like that Beyonce song. Have you heard All Night?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, like All Night. He kissed my scars, and he made me feel like everything, when you experience, I guess, a trauma or just things, and you go through life differently. You're more reserved. You're mean sometimes. You're sometimes just really mean, and
All the
there's
walls go
things
up.
that you don't, you know what I'm saying? Your walls go up and they come out in different ways. And he patiently waited on the other side, and he nursed the coming down of my walls. He took the punches I was giving him that he didn't deserve. And yeah, yeah,
I'm going to
that was the second
cry.
time.
I'm kind of tearing up right now. I just find like love like that it's so beautiful. Like again, I bring it back to the love that holds space. Love that says, as you
Mm-hmm.
are, just come. Love that says, in spite of, despite of, patient, self. Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I so much love it. And I'm grateful you've
Mm-hmm.
experienced love like that because it only makes you a better person. I mean, we are just
Thank
literally stars being constantly reborn, really, and love is
you.
just taking us to the higher, greater versions of ourselves. So I'm glad you've experienced that.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. I'm glad that you're glad that I experienced
Oh, I'm
it.
glad that you're glad that I'm glad that you experienced
Okay, we're not doing
that.
this.
You sure? Okay. So I was gonna ask you, are you single?
Am I single? Um, yeah, I would say I'm single.
You sure? You took
But
like a little pause.
yeah, I mean, life is life. I don't know exactly. Like, I would consider myself single, but I don't know if everyone in the world would consider. I don't know. That's it.
So essentially,
Like, I
you,
really don't
you
know.
you are not dating anyone, but someone might be dating you.
Perhaps. Yeah,
It is what
perhaps.
it is.
It is what it is.
I was.
The business.
How do you navigate the dating scene when you're either at home or in New York?
I don't date often, personally. I'm not really into the whole dating scene. I'm more into connecting with people. So if someone authentic comes along and shows me things I need to see about myself, then maybe I'll fall for them if that's what naturally happens. But I'm not someone who goes on dates often. I've had maybe 4 in my whole life, but just because I was experimenting with dating and was like, let's see what it's like to be someone who dates, but it wasn't for me. Um, yeah, I think part of it has to do with me being trans, I guess. But I think parts of it also have to do with the fact that I just don't see the need for looking for something that's supposed to be meant for me, you know.
You said that so beautifully, and I just keep thinking about how similar we are, because I find that
Wow.
it's like I complain to my friends all the time that I want love and affection. They're like, you have to like maybe like they're like because I just moved to California about
California.
yeah.
Yeah, I know this. Welcome,
Thank you.
I guess,
I
if I
got
can say
here.
that.
Well, it's been wild. And I got here in December,
Mm,
and I was because I had my last relationship had ended in October, and it was quite the relationship. Let's just put it that way. And so I was like, I just want to
okay.
get on, and I miss having that connection with someone. And they're like, try to talk to new people, and I'm like, I, ju- I just don't understand like how people do it. I feel like I have to have that connection first before we start dating or going out or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, because
Mm-hmm.
I
I
mean,
agree.
for me, like, are we? I don't want to just march on the superficial levels. God, what is my English today?
Yeah,
But
it's totally fine. It's totally fine. We all have it. It happens to me all the time where I forget to speak. Way worse than what just happened to you, though. Was perfect.
thank you, thank you. I wanted to ask you, as we are in the month of June, what you think about Pride and what
Mm-hmm.
the Pride marches mean to you, and just talk to me about that.
Um, Funny enough, I used to not be so, I guess, for Pride. I had a very negative and toxic outlook on the community prior to, I guess, identifying as trans and additionally being comfortable with that and maturing. Before I was trans, I identified as gay for many, many years. And before that, I was bisexual, and so it goes. But I used to see the community, again, this is something I don't want to say, but I feel like I have to say to answer honestly. Um, I used to see the community as just not what it actually is. I saw being gay as only meaning attracted to, you know, guys or being attracted to girls as a cis or trans female or any kind of a female. But at the time, I felt like the community, rather than the definition of being gay, were two completely different things. I felt like the community was one of pretentiousness and being obnoxious and being superficial and somewhat racist and all of that. Some of those things are true, not for the entire community, but in parts of the community.
Yeah.
But I had to separate myself from that before I could fully accept myself as a part of the community. And the first time I actually did that was 2018, which was 8 years after I thought I was bisexual. So yeah, like now I see the importance of being loud and being proud. I see the importance of being open and honest. I see the importance of going to, maybe not necessarily going to marches and stuff, but being someone who contributes to other people's lives other than just your own. And I'm very proud of it. I'm very, very, very proud of it. And I think that queer people, gay, lesbian, everything, queer people do amazing things. We're amazing people. We have amazing powers, and we're not human. We're superhuman, and that's why they're intimidated by us. So that's my view of the community.
You know,
pride. Sorry.
So I'm very glad that you were able to speak on some of the issues that the community is facing, because those things are very, very true. And honestly, like moving over here, this was going to be my first Pride. I have never had a match before or experienced Pride. Thank you. Well, Corona was like nothing for you, but we moved. And growing up in Nigeria, you know, we have the SSMPA, which is a 14-year anti-gay law. So there is definitely no Pride happening. But I have seen that despite not having a march or having like Pride, we're still able to be active and be activists in all our spaces and to push for our rights. And I feel like Pride would be a great thing to have eventually, but we are doing the work. And I feel like as long as we're doing the work, it doesn't matter if we're marching or not. It would be nice to, but like, it doesn't matter.
I love that. And I hope to see Pride one day in Nigeria, and I'd love to be a part of it one day. I'd love to go with you too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I got like some rainbow sneakers, so that's what's up. All right. I wanted to ask you another personal question, and thank you so much for your honesty, and because you've been so honest with me throughout our entire conversation, and it just makes this much easier. So I wanted to ask you that are you proud of yourself and where you are in your growth process of your art, and not just your art, but of yourself as a person in this world?
I'm extremely proud of myself.
Fuck yeah.
I know I may not be far, but I work hard every day, and I constantly raise my standards. I constantly challenge myself. I constantly love myself and those around me. And I think that those things are things that can only make you proud of yourself. I think that I love the fact that I'm experimenting with my art. I love the fact that I'm accepting myself for who I am and not this idea of what I used to think I wanted to be. And yeah, like, I think my pride in myself comes more from the accepting of the imperfection than it does from actual tangible accomplishments that I would have thought I would have wanted, if that makes sense.
Makes so much sense. So much sense.
Yeah.
I love hearing you speak.
Yeah. Thank you. I love speaking, and I love hearing you speak.
I love you hearing me. I kind of run.
Again? Okay. I
wanted to ask you, what do you think is your superpower?
My superpower? Empathy. Empathy. Right. I have huge amounts of empathy. For sure.
I like that you just like got that on the spot.
I've thought about it a lot, I'm not gonna lie. Just maybe not in the form of a superpower, but like, what is the thing that I admire most about myself, and what is one thing I would carry with myself? It's definitely empathy. For sure.
I like that. It's a great answer. I'm
Thank
very
you.
pleased with your answer. And
Thank you.
it feels like we just started this like 5 minutes ago, but we're actually at the end
It
of the
does.
interview. And
Wow.
I just want to say how
Thank you.
grateful I am on my behalf and on behalf of every person at Lucid Lemons, because for us this month, it's this entire year has been hard on every individual, and especially Black individual and Black queer individuals. And we know that with
Mm-hmm.
everything going on, with us lifting up so many names, asking for justice and asking for peace, it is easy to give up
Mm.
and not to lose all hope and just want to fade away. But the thing is, we're beautiful, we're queer, we are full of joy and light, and we will not be silenced. And Lucy Lemons wants to lift up and amplify every single queer voice to give us the most hopeful pride that we've had that would carry us for months and years into the future. And we would like to ask you to say some words
Wow.
towards that.
Well, first of all, I love everything that you guys do. I really, really, really do. I was going through your page and seeing all your posts and how you uplift other artists, other Black artists, other queer artists. And it is such an important thing to do at a time like this. I believe in positive change all the time and action. And I feel like you definitely sum up exactly what my belief system is. And I wish you all the best. I will be a part of it as much as I can and in any way that I can. And I'm very honored to have spoken to you and to have had this interview and to be one of the voices of pride for you.
Thank you. Do you have anything to say to the other queer people listening in right now?
You're capable, you're strong, you are superhuman, as I mentioned before. And a circumstance is merely a circumstance. It does not have to define you, and it does not have to tear your spirit down. That's what
Amazing.
I would say.
Amazing. Tell us where we can find your music and your art. Where can we stalk you? Where can we follow you? Where can we give you our coins?
Some coins. Okay, well, on Spotify, you gotta search my name, which is Bazise, BAZ/ZISE. And then you'll just find the catalog of 2 songs. That's across all streaming platforms.
Secrets
SoundCloud, same
and lucid
thing.
dreams.
Secrets, Lucid Dreams. Those are my 2 songs. Your Black is Beautiful, my new poem, is on SoundCloud. You just have to search my name. My Instagram is my name, Bazise. And as soon as you find one link, you'll have every other link. It's all interconnected.
Amazing, amazing. Well, guys, you can also follow me if you feel generous. I am lady_yin. So it's LADY_YINN. And please follow Lucid Lemons. We are Lucid_Lemons on Twitter. We are Lucid Lemons with an extra S on Instagram. And our website is lucidlemons.com. Check us out. And please share this interview with your friends. Thank you so much for coming on with me. I truly appreciated this.
Thank you for having me. This is wonderful.
Bye.